Today we want to address that question that we've gotten from many parents with confusion about how to read your child's prescription label. And in fact, it can be very confusing because there are so many different elements on that prescription label and they all mean different things. So what I have here for you today is an example of a prescription, and I want to run through that label with you and tell you what each of those parts mean and how to distinguish them from one another. So looking at the prescription label, you're always going to have a prescription number on it that will help identify that prescription for your patient, your child. And then looking at the most important part, and what I think parents really want to focus on, is looking at the directions. So for example, this prescription reads, give 4.5 milliliters by mouth or G-button every 4 to 6 hours as needed for pain. And then it will list the medication that is in this prescription, which in this case is acetaminophen, or the generic name for Tylenol, and the concentration of that, since it's a liquid in this form. And the concentration is 160 milligrams for every 5 milliliters. And then lastly, we'll have a quantity on here. So to run through each of these parts, looking at the directions, so 4.5 mils, or milliliters is what it stands for, and it is often referred to as mils. What can be confusing for parents is understanding the difference between milliliters and milligrams. So they're both going to be units of measurement. The milliliters are going to be a unit measuring volume, or the amount of the liquid that you're actually going to draw up to give your child. Whereas milligrams is going to be the actual dose in weight of that medication that you're receiving. So looking at the acetaminophen, the reason that the concentration is on here and why that is so important is because different medications have different concentrations, and if we only know the amount of volume that you're giving, we can't determine what that actual dose is without understanding what this concentration is. And they can vary from medication to medication. So understanding both of these parts and having both of these on the prescription is really key to knowing the dose that your child is getting if they're admitted to the hospital or if you need to tell your doctor what they're receiving. Both of those parts are crucial. And then the quantity part down here, it says 200, and what this means is since it's a liquid, there are 200 milliliters total in this bottle. So after going through the whole label, what the really important part here is this volume piece, the 4.5 mils, which is your child's dose that you want to administer. And it's really important to know how much volume that you need to draw up so that you're giving the right dose. And if you're confused and that dose is maybe in milligrams as opposed to milliliters, understand that they're not the same. And then if you have questions about that, you can always reach out to your pharmacist or your pediatrician.